Good morning, everyone. My name is Alice Fielding. I serve on the Sunday Service Committee, and I like to read sermons written by my friend, the Reverend Art Severance, who was the minister in San Antonio when I was growing up. And I realized that I hadn't got a sermon from him in about 6 months. And I emailed him and said, "Are you all right?" And he wrote back right away and he said, "I'm great. I'm retired." Fortunately, I have a backlog. This sermon was originally delivered on January 1st, 2015 at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Amherst, New York. 2 Irish toasts to the new year. 1. As you slide down the banisters of life, may the splinters never point the wrong way. 2. May all your troubles during the coming year be as short as your New Year's resolutions. Resolutions are good, especially if there are changes we need to make in our lives. I heard about one poor guy who dialed his girlfriend and got the following recording. I am not available right now, but thank you for caring enough to call. I am making some changes in my life. Please leave a message after the beep. If I do not return your call, you are one of the changes. As some cynic wrote, New Year's resolution, to tolerate fools more gladly, provided this does not encourage them to take up more of my time. At the turn of the millennium, which now seems so long ago, I wrote an article titled Toward a Practical Theology for the Next Millennium for the December issue of First Day's Record, a UU Minister's Journal. I propose a new slogan, perhaps a new theology for the next millennium, as arbitrary a measurement of real time and history as that might be. Carpe diem mañana. Yes, I'm all in favor of Robin Williams and the Dead Poets Society movie and their catchy slogan of Carpe diem, seize the day. But down here in the borderlands of Mexico, where the blazing sun makes siestas, Spanish for meditation or nap, what I prefer to call reclining meditation, in the afternoon, Carpe diem just doesn't quite cut it for Hispanics or Anglos. No. If one adds that lovely Spanish expression, mañana, which not only means tomorrow, but also can mean later, there's no hurry. Relax. Have an iced tea. Not have a nice day, but have an iced tea. Okay, so I'm with Andy. I really, really hate tea. And I once had to gulp down this giant thing of iced tea for my Mexican friends in order to be polite to them. And the little girl who gave it to me was just like, ¿Te gusta el té? And I said, más o menos. Really, really trying to be polite anyway. Yes, they really mean it. Have a nice tea. Part of it, of course, has to do with the heat during the day in Texas and Mexico. And you could have a heat stroke if you tried to work too hard during the heat. Let's work on slowing things down a bit in the new. This past 1,000 years has just gone by too damn fast. On theological as well as sociological grounds, we need to teach our busy folks procrastination. Life has become too hectic, too busy, too damn technological. Excuse me, either my fax or my cell phone just rang. Or was it line 1 or line 2? Carpe diem sounds fine for the type A personality, the minister or corporate giant as CEO, and him or her of the clean desk and agendered lifestyle. Yes, I think I just coined a word, and I hereby copyright it. You may use it with proper attribution. But for me, down here in old San Antonio, deep in the heart of Texas, I prefer mañana and the desk of the creative mind. Yes, I'm aware that some people think that means unorganized, sloppy, even unagenderized. But for Christ's sake, let's remember that part where he talks about the lilies and worrying. Let's get back to religion, for heaven's sake. Back to killing everyone who disagrees with our particular brand. And that word has definite connotations here in cattle country, where vegetarians tread lightly. And it is not only a sin, but actually against the law to talk badly about beef. Just ask Oprah. A law in Texas actually has to do with libeling beef. Someone once said that expecting the world to treat you nicely because you're a nice person is like expecting a bull not to charge you because you're a vegetarian. Get rid of guilt. Somewhere I read this wonderful definition of guilt. A sixth human sense, faithfully instilled in children by parents and in congregations by the clergy for centuries. If functioning properly, it may not prevent people from sinning, but it will prevent them from enjoying it. Enjoy life. From Googling New Year's, I came across some poems on New Year's by a poet named Nicholas Gordon, who writes poems for free on his website of that same name, poemsforfree.com. And I find his words inspiring. Yay, even for free. Happiness is something that one settles for after the ups and downs of ecstasy. Perhaps one doesn't know what one is looking for. Perhaps one doesn't realize one is free. Year's end is a time to tally up the tentacles, needing an occasion to take stock. Everywhere are angels singing canticles, well beyond the confines of the clock. Years, no more than seconds, are but moments, each eternity again, again. All live on the wheel of joys and torments, returning to the ramparts of the wind. Carpe diem mañana is my way of reminding us to look at how we spend our time, as if our time were a precious commodity, because it is. The word leisure, after all, from the Latin means to be free. Leisure is anything that restores you to peace while you are doing it. So, gardening, golf, reading, puzzles, and many other things can restore us to peace as we do them. Most often, to build toward leisure demands that we disassemble something else. Lao Tzu tells the story of a wealthy businessman who was horrified to see a fisherman sitting beside his boat playing with a small child. "Why aren't you out fishing?" asked the businessman. "Because I caught enough fish for one day," replied the fisherman. "Why don't you catch some more?" "What would I do with them?" "You could earn more money," said the businessman. "Then with the extra money, you could buy a bigger boat, go into deeper waters, and catch more fish. Then you would make enough money to buy nylon nets. With the nets, you could catch even more fish and make more money. With that money, you could own 2 boats, maybe 3 boats. Eventually, you could have a whole fleet of boats and be rich, like me." "Then what would I do?" asked the fisherman. "Then," said the businessman, "you could really enjoy life." The fisherman looked at the businessman quizzically and asked, "What do you think I'm doing now?" In the 1989 film Dead Poets Society, John Keating, the unorthodox English teacher played by Robin Williams, announces, "We are food for worms, lads. Believe it or not," he tells the students, "each and every one of us in this room is one day going to stop breathing, turn cold, and die." One of the poetry sites said, "Carpe diem remains an enduring rhetorical device in poetry because it is a sentiment that possesses an elasticity of meaning, suggesting both possibility and futility. Many poets have responded to the sentiment, engaging in poetic dialogues and arguments over its meaning and usefulness." The New England poet Robert Frost, who, though not a UU, did attend a Universalist Sunday school as a child, briefly considers the notion of living in the present in a poem appropriately titled Carpe Diem. He concludes, however, that the age-long theme is ages, and ends the poem with his own sentiment that one should seize tomorrow, not today. But bid life seize the present? It lives less in present than in the future always, and less in both together than in the past. The present is too much for the senses, too crowding, too confusing, too present to imagine. So, find the balance, but also make sure you find good company for the journey. Figure out what you need to bring. Find your uniqueness, as well as that you have in common with others. There is a story of a mountain village in Europe, centuries ago, where a wealthy nobleman wondered what legacy he should leave to his townspeople. He made a good decision. He decided to build them a church. No one was permitted to see the plans or the inside of the church until it was finished. At its grand opening, the people gathered and marveled at the beauty of the new church. Everything had been thought of and included. It was a masterpiece. But then someone said, "Wait a minute, where are the lamps? It is really quite dark in here. How will the church be lighted?" The nobleman pointed to some brackets in the walls, and then he gave each family a lamp, which they were to bring with them each time they came to worship. "Each time you are here," the nobleman said, "the place where you are seated will be lighted. Each time you are not here, that place will be dark. This is to remind you that whenever you fail to come to church, some part of God's house will be dark." Each of us is a light, and each of us is needed to light the way on our journey. We must trust ourselves and others. That requires faith. Faith is not just about the unseen, but about the growing possibilities. There is the story of the little boy who did a wonderful painting in school. When his teacher saw it, she was puzzled, though. It had many colors and shapes, but she couldn't really tell what it was. Now, I know we have teachers here, and teachers know that one of the important laws of teaching children about being creative, let them tell you what it is, never ask. The teacher knew she wasn't supposed to ask, so she praised it generically and suggested he take it home. He did, very carefully, because he was quite proud of his new creation. When he got home, he pulled it out right away and offered it to his mother. "Oh, honey, that's beautiful. Let's put it up on the refrigerator. Right next to the church calendar, I'm sure. Can you tell me what it is?" Obviously, this mother wasn't a teacher. Or was she? The little boy beamed with such joy, and very proudly, as they fastened the picture to the fridge, he said, "Mommy, it's a possibility." My friends, we are all possibilities in this new year which is upon us. As someone has said, Michael Altshuler, the bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. And one of my favorite theologians, Mark Twain, is purported to have said, "Never put off till tomorrow what may be done day after tomorrow just as well." 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bowlines. Sail away from the safe harbor. Catch the trade winds in your sails. Explore, dream, discover. We are co-creators of our future, and imagine what we can co-create, working, playing, worshiping together. Let us begin the work and the play of a new year as we seek to find a balance between carpe diem and mañana. May this new year be the best ever if we will but make it so. Happy New Year.